Jay Byrne, and welcome to the Effects Loop. Today we're gonna have a little chat. We're gonna talk about in my opinion, the top 5 underrated guitar players of my life, of most of the time. How's that? I don't want to say of all time, because I mean, guitar players have been around for a while, and I'm sure there's underrated ones that go back even further. But yeah, I put them in alphabetical order because there's no real order here. I don't have like a preference as far as the order is concerned. It's just, it was a way to organize them for the video. So number 5, well, the fifth one here. This is kind of a modern actual guitar player. And what's interesting about this person is people don't look at this person as a guitar player, and they really should. Okay, number 5, the 5th one here, is Tobias Forge, the creator of Ghost, the person that basically writes and records most of, if not all, the music for Ghost. To the best of my knowledge, because there's not a lot of information out there about, on purpose, about how Ghost is recorded. He does the vocals, guitars, bass, keyboards, orchestration, all that stuff, and he has a drummer come in that helps him out with the drumming. That's the best that I can figure out from what I've heard. So yeah, so Tobias Forge, he's number 5. And I really don't think people look at the guitar work on those albums as something that impressive, but he's a really good guitar player, and there's a lot of cool solos and a lot of cool guitar parts. It's all in the service of the song. And I think in that way, Tobias Forge really is an underrated guitar player, because he's done all the guitar work that we're aware of, at least on the Ghost albums. I have been it's funny because we just brought up Ghost, I've been a huge King Diamond fan since high school. For many, many years. I've been a big King Diamond fan. And one main staple of King Diamond's band has been his guitar player, Andy LaRoche. I think it's Andy LaRoche. Andy LaRoche is a hugely underrated player. He's amazing. He's an amazing guitar player. Like, now we're getting into the noodly territory, because I mean, he is like a fast, crazy guitar player, but he's also very good at the nuanced stuff. There's a lot of classical influence in his playing, and he's just an incredible guitar player. He's just really, really good. I mean, the thing about it is it's niche music, because stylistically you got to be into metal, and you got to like the whole horror theme that King Diamond puts on his albums. I feel Andy LaRoche's best work is definitely the first 4 or 5 albums. You know, you've got Fatal Portrait, Abigail, Them, Conspiracy, and The Eye. Those 5 albums are classic. Like, they're about as classic as like horror metal can get. Like, each album, the thing with King Diamond is each album is a horror story. Like, he writes it like a book. Like, lyrically, it's a story. Like, Them is a story about a haunted house and the grandmother, and there's a whole freaking plot to that, and I'm not going to get involved in. But Fatal Portrait, I think, is almost like a horror anthology. There's a couple different stories on that album. Same thing with The Eye. But yeah, they're great albums, and they're concept albums, and they're really, really cool. And Andy LaRoche's guitar playing is amazing on them. It's amazing. Like, I've always felt that he's a horribly, horribly underrated guitar player. The next person on my list, the next one that I'm gonna talk about today, is Brian Setzer from the Stray Cats and from the Brian Setzer Orchestra and that stuff, like, which is amazing. Actually, I watched a concert on YouTube not that long ago. It was a full show from the Brian Setzer Orchestra. He is an incredible guitar player. Like, his style is the rockabilly style that he plays in, but his speed and the way that he plays, and he plays Gretsch guitars mainly, and I mean, it's like, anybody who's used to playing a Gretsch's play pretty easy, and they can like be set up very well. But there is an old school guitar feel about them. It's almost like it feels like playing an acoustic guitar in some ways, depending on how you have your string gauge and everything set up for a Gretsch. He knocks it out of the park, man. He's like, his playing is amazing. Like, he plays, like I said, in that kind of old school, kind of jazzy rockabilly. There's a bit of swing to his playing. I mean, I think the Stray Cats were kind of thought of as a novelty act back in the day. But now you go back and listen to them. They only released a couple of albums. And you go back and check those albums out, especially like the first 2 or 3 albums. They're amazing. They're great albums. They're a lot of fun. They really capture the vibe of that 50s music. Like, to the point where it feels authentic, some of it. I mean, there is a modern rockabilly sound to it, but it feels authentic in certain areas, where it feels like you're listening to legit 50s music. The next one on my list is Andy Summers from the Police. Now, I don't think the Police get as much credit as they deserve. The Police are an amazing band. They have 5 albums, I'm pretty sure. Outlandos I never know how to pronounce that album. Outlandos D'Amour or something like that. I can't remember the name of that. They have weird album titles. Regatta de Blanc, Ghost in the Machine, Synchronicity, and there's another one there somewhere. Zenyatta Mandata. That's right. So there's 5 albums. The Police released 5 official albums during their heyday in the early 80s. And I think Andy Summers gets overlooked because his style, it's serving the song. However, he plays some very complicated patterns. Like, just listen to something like Every Breath You Take. Try to learn how to play Every Breath You Take. Like, actually try to play that song. It is very hard to play, and it's a very tricky riff. Message in a Bottle. I've done that in some of my other videos. Like, just the stretch of his fingers, just the way he plays these chords. It's pretty impressive. And like I said, I don't think the Police get enough credit. I don't think they get as much credit as some of the other 80s artists that were, in the same vein. All right, well, we're on the last one here. My last one that I have on my list right now. And this one, I think, is going to be a controversial one. And it's interesting that it ended up being last, but it was only because of the alphabet order thing, the way that I put everything together. This is one that serves the song. This is a guitar player that serves the song. Johnny Ramone. I think Johnny Ramone is a hugely underrated guitar player. Johnny Ramone would never call himself a great guitar player because does he even solo much? No. It's all chords. But I defy you to play 25 minutes of Ramone songs at the, at the pace that they played them live. Because everything was always fast live. Solid and straight, downstroking, like those chord progressions. As simple as they are. The funny thing is it's almost harder because they are simple, because you can take the same 4 chords and that could be like 5 different Ramone songs. But they slightly vary. So it's very easy for your mind to forget the position of the chords if you're not 100% locked in and you know exactly what you're playing. But I think he's a horribly underrated guitar player because, like I said, he would never consider himself a virtuoso or somebody that, like, a huge guitar player. But just the pace that he could keep up with live, the pacing of the playing, and the fact that they managed to take the same 4 or 5 chords and write hundreds of songs with those same chords, but yet there's something different about each song. When you listen to it, there's something different there. Like, yeah, some songs sound similar or they sound the same. I mean, that's the thing with the Ramones. I mean, they're a fun band to listen to, and there is variance within their music despite how simple it is. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do, to write easy, simple music that is different. To sit down, try to write 5 songs with the same 4 chords and try to make each 5 songs sound at least slightly different from the last. It's not easy to do. And like I said, at the pace and the speed that they would play live, it's hard to keep up with. I did a Ramones live set during the pandemic, during when people were doing a lot of live performances online. I did just for fun, like a Ramones set. And to rip through 4 or 5 Ramones songs, that was exhausting. I mean, I had to do multiple takes of songs and edit it all together and stuff, and just to give it a nice smooth straight through. But when the Ramones played live, they'd play for an hour straight. They'd play like 50 freaking songs, and it was like boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, another song. 1, 2, 3, 4, another song. And they were like a freaking army marching into battle on stage. So I don't think that Johnny Ramone gets the credit that he deserves, because to me, he's usually an influential guitar player to me, and I'm sure he's influenced a lot of people. And it's nice when you can be not that great of a guitar player, but you can still play the songs. Maybe you're not as good as the person that's doing it, but you can still do it. So, you know what? I hope you get something out of this video. If you like this kind of content, like, subscribe, leave a comment. I know YouTube's algorithm, from everything I've been watching, loves the likes and the comments. So that's great. And of course, I love the subscribers. So if you're not subscribed to the channel and you like this stuff and you want to see more of it, I'm going to keep going here. So thank you. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for everything. And I'll see you next time.